Sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device.
All right, everybody, welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, March the 6th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you. With me, as always, is none other than Mr. RadioPete and Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. Say hello, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, hello.
What's up, everybody?
How is everybody?
Feel like I haven't seen you guys in like a month and a half, huh?
Yeah, you would have.
How about that Super Bowl, huh? I really thought Baltimore was going to pull it out. I'm just glad Taylor.
I thought the Lions were going to do better than that in the games. Yeah.
Well, Johnny Unitas just didn't show up.
He didn't. The Taylor Swift ball was good. Good.
Oh, yeah. By the way, I did send you the final tally sheet there, John. I emailed
you did? All right, I'll have to put that up there now because
we said that we don't have to talk about the game. Obviously, it was a month ago, but
no, we're going to talk about the game. But I want to talk about the prop bets and the rest
bets and the final. Our new champion, Harry Lug Nutz, I believe, is the correct pronunciation. Congratulations there,
Lug Nutz. Yes,
we'll
get into that. We'll definitely get into that.
But what are we going to start with the old NFL?
We're going to start with the old NFL. We're going to start with our pictures first. Let me just get this Super Bowl.
Well, let me just say, a couple of weeks ago, I was in Baltimore.
You were,
boy,
yes,
and had a little bit of a stomach virus.
Yes,
and
you did.
I have not been that sick since like we went to Disney when the boys were little and ate something bad there and spent a couple of days laid up. So I completely forgot that there was a show or that anything was going on. The only information that was pertinent to me at that time was
the distance from your bed to the bathroom.
Yeah, how close is the bathroom? That was the only thing that mattered. So
exactly. Yeah. Well, we're glad to see that you're feeling much better from that, and
yeah.
Clearly, you were soon after. It didn't take 2 weeks for you to recoup.
No. It took till Saturday though.
Wow.
For me to clear the headache and everything.
Were you home already when you were done? Like, did you get home and still feel like
Yeah, well, because we came back, we were going to come back Wednesday night because it's about a 4.5 hour drive. But I couldn't go anywhere, so we ended up staying there till Thursday, and then actually I had to I bought a car.
Nice.
So I had to on Monday, which I couldn't pay for because it was President's Day, and I didn't have a bag of money with me. So was supposed to pick it up Thursday. So we drove back Thursday and went and picked up the car. It just felt awful. Yeah. And then came home Thursday, crashed, just immediately went to sleep. And then Friday, still a little headachy, but pretty much by Friday afternoon, I was okay.
Gotcha.
But I had no idea. Like, I know you texted me or whatever, but like I wasn't even thinking about the show or anything. I was like, there was no thought process in my mind. Not that I could have called in anyway, but
no, you would have been able to.
Yeah, I wasn't ghosting you guys. I was just
we knew.
I was out of it.
We knew. Yeah, well, but I mean, by the end of the show, we knew what the deal was. But we knew you were away. We just figured you were just tied up in whatever it was you were doing.
Yeah, I wish. But I wish I'd been tied up with
people did write in and say we really missed Pete tonight. So they had to deal with him and I. So
they got problems.
Exactly.
They need to get lives if that's the case. But thank you, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So here we are.
So before we do anything, before we even get to the memes, let's. I do want to make this announcement. Actually, Harry would like to make this announcement. I'll put the graphic up. Harry, you please talk. There you go.
All right. This is our last show. Oh no, this. Okay. For all 6 people that may be listening to this in the Denver area, no, this has nothing to do with Saquon Barkley. My band Log, who you hear every week opening the show musically, has a new album out, and we're having an album release party. Saturday, April 20th at the Mercury Cafe in Denver, Colorado. Follow us on Instagram at Lognoise, Lognoise, at Lognoise. That is the best way to catch up on it. And you can find the new album on Spotify right now. Go to LOG with a period at the end of the G, and you'll find our new album, Dump Truck Sayonara, available on most of your streaming platforms at this moment. So,
and don't forget the period.
Yeah,
on
don't
Spotify.
forget the period. That's right.
Don't forget the period. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, otherwise it's a live camera in a beaver dam. And
Well, you know,
Exactly.
back in the day, we were probably one of maybe 3 bands with the name Log, and now there's a few more. So, and
Okay.
you know, no one has a band anymore. So,
Will this album be available in any physical form?
it will be. That's a good question, Pete. Thank you for asking that. What we are going to be doing at this album release show, which is a little bit atypical, is we are going to be selling some merchandise. And we're going to be
albums right there at the show for anyone.
We're going to be right at the show, old school, with an Edison phonograph. They're good for 3 plays. Just don't leave them out in the sun, and you can take them home with you. No, we're gonna have some information that we don't really have time to get them pressed for this show, but we're going to do a Kickstarter. We're going to have some merchandise some new merchandise that we haven't had in a while, and we're going to allow you to sign up and be able to get it. If you do feel like purchasing the album in a digital format, you can do so at Spotify, or you can go to Bandcamp, which is Logco, Logco at Bandcamp, where most of the proceeds go to the band and not to some mystical
Oracle being.
Yes, yeah. We don't need 27 million plays before we get 6 cents. So you can buy it there. We have it in high res, FLAC, and whatever other formats. But yes, we will have it in album form. Some old people are asking for it in a CD. I don't have enough of those
some
really
old people are asking for a CD. Do you imagine saying that back in the 80s?
Well, that's
like
what
old people on a CD.
You just
answered. I know. I answered I answered my own question. Right. Yeah. No.
So Anyway, it's out, and we will definitely be releasing it on vinyl. As goes with most things in Log, the best laid plans are never.
And here's the band.
There we are in all our glory. We're looking good these days.
Very nice.
We use the
very nice.
You should, Harry. Harry, you should use the megaphone on this show. You should.
Well, be careful what you wish for.
You know what you could do? Do you guys remember the when Mad Magazine had like the little floppy vinyl 45s they put in the magazine sometimes?
Those are coming back.
Yeah. I think you could put out a single, or
we're gonna have a
technology is such you could put a whole album on one of those.
Well, yeah, not necessarily, but we're gonna do an actual album. But we're gonna have tons of stuff. It's all coming. Cool. So the best way to find out though is how. Go to Instagram at Lognoise and hit a follow. It's all it takes. It's very simple. Just follow us. I know it's hard for people to do that. Check in every once in a while if it doesn't plug through the algorithm. And that's how you can best keep up with what's going on. So, hey, look, and then DM us. If you want me to send you a text, I'll send you a text. I don't care what it takes. I'm not doing faxed email lists anymore, so.
Carrier pigeon.
We're not that hard to find. So
exactly. Listen, I do have a request.
There are now 2 good reasons to be on Instagram.
I have
show and Log.
Mm-hmm. Well, there you go.
Don't forget.
At least one.
Don't forget the beer podcast.
Yeah, that's more of a Facebook venue, isn't it?
Not really. Not a fan.
Not a fan. Well, thank you.
Wow.
All right, I got a merch request.
I'm a super fan, actually.
I got a merch request.
Yes,
and I'll pay for it. I want a Log jersey.
We could do that.
I want a log jersey. I do.
What number would you want?
18. 18's my number.
18. Peyton Manning. All right.
Yeah.
It's not for Peyton Manning. It's for actually, if you must know, it's a little bit older than Peyton Manning, and it's the wrong sport.
It's the length of your cock.
It's the length of my cock.
Where would you get laid?
18 millimeters. Right.
Metric.
Goddamn metric system.
Micrometers.
18, really? Millimeters. Sorry.
That's right. 18 microns.
18 microns.
This date is over.
Gotta go.
Unless she's a lesbian, then you can scissor.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of sports, all right. This is true, but yeah, no, seriously, no. All joking aside, if
we'll get you on. We'll get you on.
I want a jersey. I'll wear it on the show.
All right, there you go.
All right, let's kick it off with the memes as we do. Pete, we got to come up with some. We were talking about this in the last show. We got to start doing some bumper music. We're going to be. I'll make the announcement now because he just made the announcement with the album release party for that. In the next show or two, next couple of shows, at some point we'll be changing up the opening theme. After almost 4 years, we'll be changing up the opening theme. It'll be a new log song.
Maybe something off the new album.
Maybe something off the new album.
That'd be a great idea. What a novel concept.
I think what a novel concept. I'm glad I thought of that.
That's right.
So anyway, but Pete, I think over the next couple of weeks, a couple of shows that we do that, you and I should put together, and Harry, all three of us should put together just a couple, like a sounder or a little bumper stuff for some of these segments. We have it for Beaten by the Coin. We have it for Are They For Real? Let's get it for the other stuff too. Why not? Let's, makes it a little bit more interactive, if you will, a little bit more musical. All right.
Yes. Well, the boy is almost done with his college interview, so I can turn him into the creator mode.
There you go. That'll work.
Get him started on making up some freshly composed bumpers.
There you go. So sounds like a plan. All right.
Just what every podcast needs.
Just what every podcast needs. All right. So let's get going with the memes here. This is going to kick us off. The first one is right here. This gate must be open or shut. Oh, they're not wrong.
No,
right?
I would say that is a truism.
That is 100% correct.
It is physically and existentially.
Exactly.
I think it's true on many levels.
This gate must be open or shut. One or the other. It absolutely has to be one or the other. So that was good. Moving on to the next one now. This is apparently a new Thai cuisine restaurant. It's called the Phu Ping Palace.
I've been there. It's great.
Not sure I want to visit that. I mean, I've been there, but never mind. Yeah, the Phu Ping Palace. I hear the food is. I hear the food is really the shit.
The takeout is very good. I've heard.
Takeout's good. Yeah. You might want to just for your first visit, just try to take out just to be on the safe side.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Moving on to the next one. It's a new frozen item in your local supermarket. It's the crap lollipop.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. So
yeah. Well, I think lollipop has two L's, doesn't it? Or maybe not.
No, it doesn't actually. But I do hear they serve these at the Phu Ping Palace.
Yeah, this is a featured appetizer at the Phu Ping Palace.
Absolutely.
What is the dipping sauce, I wonder?
I don't even want to know. I'm good.
Like Mylanta or something like that?
I think it's got to be something. It's liquid Imodium, but yeah, crap lollipop. All right.
Very nice.
Moving on to the next one, we have cock smoker chicken sandwich.
Oh, well. So many questions.
That sounds like something somebody with Tourette's would blurt out.
Well, there's a lot of possibilities.
By the way, ladies and gentlemen, the next log album will be called
Cock Smoker Chicken Sandwich.
So, is this smoked rooster? Is this a sandwich that's made by a cock smoker? I just
so many questions
without punctuation. It really could be interpreted a lot of ways.
This is very true. All right. So after cock smoker chicken sandwich, you kind of can't top that. But our next one, moving on to the next one, we have.
Where's the comma go in this?
Hey, where's the comma?
Cock smoker chicken sandwich? Is it cock smoker chicken sandwich?
Or is it cock smoker chicken?
Cock smoke a chicken sandwich.
Right.
Maybe it's strictly for those who enjoy cigarettes or cigars.
Exactly.
And other things.
It's a chicken sandwich for smokers.
Yeah.
But made purely of rooster meat.
Yeah. It's going to leave you orally satisfied one way or the other.
There you go. Well put. Well said. All right, moving on to the next one. We got sale of chicken murder.
Well, poor chickens tonight.
Yeah, there's a lot of the chickens are not really making out well tonight. But yes, sale of chicken murder. It's advertising. It's a billboard. That's a billboard on a building right there. So you see up the top right there, top left, however your perspective is. There's a telephone pole up there.
Oh, okay.
But sale of chicken murder. Clearly,
it's most likely this is poor translation.
Poor translation, I'm sure.
But what did they really mean?
Sale of dead chicken. Sale of
just
killed chicken.
We'll kill chicken and sell it to you right in front of you, freshly killed chicken, maybe for sale.
Fresh killed chicken, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Sorry if that ruins it for anyone.
And a sale of chicken murder. And I saved the best for last tonight for this week. Here we go. This is actually.
That's debatable. I don't know what it is. But
exactly.
We do cocksmoker chicken sandwich.
Well, yeah, cocksmoker chicken sandwich is in a lead right now, but this one. Now these are all poorly worded cards in restaurants or signs in a store or poorly translated billboards. This was actually in a newspaper. So here we go. Let's read it, shall we? Julia Roberts finds life and her holes get better with age.
Well,
I mean, I don't really have anything to compare it with. What I also like is that there's just Dolly Parton right above it. So,
right.
I mean, if there's anybody whose holes we know have gotten better with age, she's got a lot to look forward to.
Exactly. But Julia Roberts finds life and her holes get better with age.
Well, she would know better with age. She would know better than anyone.
Well, this is true.
Yeah, one seems kind of related to the other. Like if your holes are getting better than age, probably your life is getting better as well.
Your life is getting better as well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a correlation there.
I think there is definitely a correlation. So. Julia Roberts finds life and her holes get better with age. Okay, your pick. Are you still going with cocksmoker chicken sandwich, or you like Julia Roberts' holes better?
I mean, if you combine them, that's a good night.
Yeah, listen. I
think you got to wash your hands really well though after having.
Perhaps she's enjoying the chicken sandwich.
Maybe she is.
That's part of what her life is getting better.
This is true. That's maybe very true. So, all right. Those are our memes for the evening. There you go.
Very nice.
I'm glad you liked them. Glad you liked them. Anyway, all right. Fair enough. All right, let's move on to a little football. We noticed we had I didn't change the background. We had basketball up. We'll get back to basketball. Let's start with a little NFL here. All right. Nothing, not a whole hell of a lot going on. I believe it's next Monday, right? Next Monday, free agency starts.
Sure. That sounds good.
Sounds about right. There should be some interesting moves. Got some questions to ask of you. Any? I'll kick it off with Giants for a second. Just a starting point, right? Barkley, Giants did not franchise tag Saquon Barkley. Now I have my thoughts. My thoughts are these are my thoughts. I'll throw my thoughts out there and see what you or anybody else has to say.
Give us your thoughts, John.
All right. I think they're going to sign him before next Monday. I think they're going to give him a contract. Keep him a Giant before next Monday. And now I could be wrong on that. They may let him go out and test the market, but I think they're going to inevitably sign him. And there's not going to be a boatload of cash, right? Because there's a lot of, we talked about it, right? There's a lot of running backs on the market this year, free agency wise. Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, and a couple others too. So Madison from the Vikings just got released as well. Not that he's in the caliber of the other five guys, and Barkley included. But in any event, I think he's inevitably one way or the other, whether it's by next Monday or after he tests the free agency waters. I think he's going to inevitably have a 3-year contract with the Giants, an opt-out after 2 on both sides, an option for a 4th, and an average value of about $13 million. That's my guess. That's where I'm at. So free agency, franchise tag would have been 12. So I'm saying it's about $1 million more, maybe a little bit more, maybe 13.5 million, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's my guess. Thoughts,
Harry?
Look, I hope he stays with the Giants. There's just a lot of talk about him going to the Cowboys. And the only thing I think that'll keep that from happening is I think the Cowboys will have a better chance of getting Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I think Derrick Henry is going to wind up on the Cowboys. I do. I think that's who's going to be the running back for the Cowboys. For you Cowboy fans out there, I think your running back one next year is going to be Derrick Henry. Pete, how do you
go
feel
somewhere else? I don't think he thinks that the Giants are going to win with Daniel Jones, and he's going to go somewhere else, even if it means less money.
What I would be whispering in his ear is that we are going to draft another quarterback.
Right. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, and there's a reason for that too. Through the grapevine, and the grapevine, my grapevine just happens to be the Rich Eisen show. So there's scuttlebutt out there, if you will.
You and 4 other people
Me and 4 other people that watch Rich Eisen.
That watch Rich Eisen, yeah.
All right. Which are the same 4 people that watch this show. So either way, in any event, there's a lot of talk out there that the Giants are done. They're completely done with Daniel Jones. There's nothing they can do this year. He has to be on the team. Now, if he's not the best choice at quarterback on this team, he's not going to play just because he has to be on the team. He'll be on the team this year, but he'll be gone after this year. He'll be gone after the 2024 season. That's the talk.
Okay.
They're done with them. They're moving on from him.
To me, that's not a reason for Saquon Barkley to stick around.
Well, no.
And wait until another unknown quarterback comes in to replace
the Giants have to rip this Band-Aid off, and they can't have another year with Daniel Jones.
They can't. Well, here's the thing, right? There's 2 options the Giants have here. One, either draft at their position, because there are plenty of decent quarterbacks in this draft, or move up a little bit. They don't need to move up to number 1. Okay, but they can move up a little bit and take
where are they now?
6.
Yeah,
they can move up. They can move up to 3 and get one of the top 3 quarterbacks at least, if not one of the top 2.
All right, so I'm Saquon. We're not going to win with Daniel Jones, so we're going to draft somebody. Won't be one of the top 2 or 3 guys.
Might be one of the top 3. But there's 5 solid quarterbacks in this draft.
But I'm going to wait around for another couple of years until maybe he develops, and my contract is possibly coming due if it's going to be a 3-year deal anyway. But none of this seems attractive to me, to Saquon Barkley.
There's another option, though. There's another option. The other option is this. Okay. No, not Kirk Cousins. Somebody that's only going to cost the Giants $1.2 million.
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Russell Wilson for 2 years.
Oh, God, no.
I think you're digging the hole deeper, John.
No.
I'm going to go from Daniel Jones
2 years.
to Russell Wilson.
All
right. 1 year. 1 year. 1 year. How's 1 year?
No years. No years.
You think Wilson's done?
I don't want him on the Giants.
You wanted him on the Giants before he went to Denver.
He's a cancer.
He might be a jet if Rodgers
because I was
come
desperate
back.
to get rid of Daniel Jones, and now they've better options out there.
All right. Well, what about Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins are going to have to pay a lot.
Kirk Cousins is going to stay in Minnesota.
Okay, fair enough. There was actually.
Would I take Kirk Cousins over Russell Wilson? Yes. The only thing that is somewhat attractive about Russell Wilson is that you will not be paying any of his contract. So you could probably sign him for the league minimum because
$1.2 million.
Yeah. So look, there are 3 or 4 really good quarterbacks here. I don't think any of the top 3 are worth moving up to get, but I'm going to tell you one name that I know in his first season will be better than Daniel Jones and Russell Wilson, and that's Bo Nix. I'm sorry. I don't agree with all these so-called fucking experts out there who, by the way, don't know their ass from their elbow, okay? Bo Nix is ready for the NFL, and if the Giants can get him, they should get him. Put him in there and start. As far as Saquon Barkley goes, Saquon Barkley is a good player. If he leaves, I don't care. He's not that good. He's not a difference maker. And if that opens up some money to get some receivers and a couple more tries at some fat fucks who could block, then let's go for it.
Specifically, fat fucks that can block.
Yeah. Well, offensive linemen.
No, you meant.
Listen,
just fat fucks that can block, not necessarily offensive linemen.
Look, they're hard to find.
Russell Wilson. Listen, look at Russell Wilson's numbers from last year, right?
Numbers don't tell you everything.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm not making the case for him. I'm just saying. All right, 15 games, 7-8 as the QB of record, 66% completion, 3,070 yards, 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not a terrible year. Obviously, it wasn't his.
He had a much better year last year than he did the year before with Nathaniel Hackett.
It wasn't only his performance that got him booted out of there.
He's 11-19 with the Broncos. He's a cancer. The Seahawks have flourished since he's been gone and are a much better team. And ever since he threw an interception in the second Super Bowl, he's not been the same guy. If somebody like Atlanta or I don't know, some of these teams that have delusions of actually doing something this year and they think Russell Wilson is the way to go, then that's great. I don't want a stopgap. I want the Giants to go out and get a quarterback.
Let me ask you this, though. He is an experienced quarterback, right? He can bring something to the table.
He'd be a great backup.
Would you bring him in for a year to give Bo Nix, rather than having to throw Nix into the lion's den right away? Would you draft Nix and have him sit behind Russell Wilson and learn for 1 year?
I would if I thought Russell Wilson was going to be any good at being a mentor role, and he's not.
But you don't.
Look,
Okay,
I'm here in Denver. I'm here in
He-
Denver, and I hate and I'm not a big Sean Payton fan, but Russell Wilson is a prima donna that has. If you watch him play, yes, he had some games. He threw some. The Broncos were never, ever in his time here. You never thought, oh, this is even a playoff team. Just didn't come close. And they had some talent. And they had some talent around him.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
so if you don't think he can help for a year, then
I don't. Here's why. If it's Kirk Cousins, that's great. If it's in years past, and Alex Smith or somebody who I think has the maturity and the and the ability to actually think that way, like, hey,
who doesn't bring an entourage with them and have a set of officers
and actually wants the guy behind him to do better.
Yeah.
Right.
All right.
Fair enough.
Wilson.
When does Arch Manning get out of
college? We don't want no Manning. The time for a Manning in the NFL is long gone.
You don't know. Supposedly,
who's Arch Manning playing for? Louisiana Southern Methodist?
Longhorns, right? Texas. He's a Longhorn, yeah.
No Arch Manning.
Or is he Tennessee? No, it's Texas. He's Longhorns, yeah.
Look, anyway. I personally think there's 5 or 6 quarterbacks in this draft that I can all see doing well in the NFL. I really do. And I'm not just saying that because
this is why I said before, the Giants don't even have to move to get one of these good quarterbacks, because there's 5 or 6 really solid ones, and not everybody above them is going to take a quarterback.
Well, let me ask you guys a question.
They have a lot of these draft boards don't have the Giants taking a quarterback in the first round.
And they probably won't. They won't in the first round.
They haven't taken a quarterback in the second round.
They're going to be the Giants. They're going to be stubborn with Daniel Jones.
They're going to take they have projected to take the wide receiver from LSU,
which is great if he's around at that pick.
He will be, because it's going to be quarterbacks, and Marvin Harrison Jr. are going to go before him.
Right.
That's it.
So let me ask you a question though, because this is what baffles me: is that do you really think there's a round and a half of difference between Caleb Williams and Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix? Is
No.
Drake May or whatever his name is, that a round and a half better than those guys?
I think that the Giants actually could wind up getting Michael Penix or Bo Nix in the second round.
You know who's hot on Bo Nix, and he's done. If there's one thing he knows, it's quarterbacks. Sean Payton's hot on Bo Nix. There's a lot of rumors that he is going to go out there and get him, no matter for the Broncos. So
Well, there you
we'll
go.
see. We'll see. If the Giants,
Well, then he wouldn't. And unless the Giants moved up, they wouldn't be getting Bo Nix anyway.
right?
If that's the case.
I think the Giants might move up in the second round. Is my point.
Okay.
If the Giants do not pick a quarterback with the first or second pick, which they probably won't with the first, but if they do not pick a quarterback with that second pick, we got another 4 or 5 years of just mediocrity here.
Hey, you never know. Tommy DeVito can move along.
Danny DeVito is not a
Danny DeVito.
Come on.
Anyway, all right. All right. Well, on that note, there's Kirk Cousins is gonna. Everybody's expecting Kirk Cousins to wind up in Atlanta, and there was actually talk I heard about the Minnesota, the Vikings, replacing Cousins with. You want to take a guess what they've been talking about?
The Vikings?
Yep.
I don't know. Is it somebody that's available?
Yeah.
Garoppolo?
Nope. He was a backup last year.
I don't know. You tell me.
Trey Lance.
Oh God. I mean, if you said what's his name from the Giants, and I'd be like, okay, that sort of makes sense.
Tommy DeVito.
No.
Oh, Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
That's true. But anyway, all right. Well, we'll see what happens with that. Any other interesting chatter out in Denver, other than the Bo Nix info that you just?
No, I mean, look, we all knew what was coming with Russell, and I mean, this is maybe the worst trade in the history of the NFL. It's gonna hurt them for a while. You knew it. I mean, look, it's just Sean Payton took this job knowing damn well that he had to get through the 1 year with Russell Wilson. They knew exactly what they were doing. And do I think Russell Wilson has a couple more games in him? I do. I just don't think Russell Wilson has to be on a team where he is not asked to do anything except make a big play, do what Russell Wilson does best. And I see him on a team with a great running game. So if Russell Wilson if Derrick Henry stays at Tennessee and Russell Wilson goes to Tennessee, I could see Russell Wilson having some decent success there,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't see him going to a team where he's going to be dropping back and throwing the ball 40 times a game. It's just, it's not his strength.
Fair enough. As far as the Jets go, I think both of you saw this, but there's a trade on the table for Zach Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there it is. Zach Wilson gets traded to McDonald's for a Big Mac, a medium fries, and a medium Coke.
I mean, I think this is fair if he's going to work the overnight shift at McDonald's. And
that's true.
It has to be a shitty one.
Right.
I would hold out for the large fries and the large Coke.
Would you?
Yeah, I think if I'm the Jets. Yeah.
No need for the super size, but they can move up to
McDonald's can afford that.
Get us large potatoes and large soda, and we pull the trigger on this one.
Yeah, and maybe one bathroom stall, like one of the big accessible bathroom stalls. I think that's
that's fair. That's fair. Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
You know what? Why not Wilson for Wilson? Right. Mm-hmm. Jack Wilson goes to Denver. Russell Wilson.
Listen, the Jets could bring him in and have 3 Wilsons.
That'd be great.
Wilson to Wilson.
Wilson to Wilson. He flips back to Wilson. It's a flea flicker down the field to Wilson.
They get a receiver named Phillips, then we can
there you go.
top gold.
Oh, there you go. All right.
Just
All
hold
right.
on.
Exactly. All right. Speaking of the quarterbacks, okay. Speaking of the
Were we?
quarterbacks coming out of the draft. All right. This was just put up today too. It was this one. A quote from Caleb Williams. He said, Caleb Williams now says he won't sign an NFL contract unless it's with a Major League Baseball team. His quote is,
Yeah.
I know my worth. It's about $700 million playing quarterback for the Dodgers. So, thoughts?
Did this actually happen?
No.
Okay. Like,
There is-
no, because like,
But the
I was
scary thing is it
thinking-
makes you actually think for a second that it might have,
Well,
right?
There are
because
some.
my first
ahead.
thought was, well, maybe Caleb Williams has a really cool sense of humor.
Right.
And he's like, I'm Caleb Williams. I'm just going to fuck with people right now.
Right.
And throws this out there. Because I don't really know much about Caleb Williams. Certainly have never met him or I know anything about his personality. But that was my first thought. I was like, no, okay, this is either not real or he is just messing with everybody, in which case he's my new favorite guy.
Right. Well, I tell you, it was my first thought too, or something similar, to the point where I saw this, and then I went to Adam Schefter's X profile, and I scrolled back to when this would have been, to March 2nd, and nothing was there. I'm like, what
And
the
it was
hell?
not.
So I went back and I looked at it. If you look down at the bottom, it says the sports memery. So obviously they
okay.
created it. So, but
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
No, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
There you go. So,
That's the sort of thing I would say,
right.
you know,
Exactly.
just to keep people on their toes. If I were going
Just-
to be, you know, the potential #1 draft pick. See who really wants me, because you know he's going to get his money anyway. So
Exactly. So, all right.
poke some
Anything
fun
else?
at, well,
NFL wise, anything else? I got
nothing else NFL.
all right. I got let's do our let's close out the beaten by the coin awards, if you will.
Oh yeah, let's take a look at the finality of the finality.
The finality of the finality.
And our new champion, Harry Lug Nutz.
Congratulations, Harry. And he won outright. We didn't need the tiebreakers, but I'm just curious. Let's look at those tiebreakers and let's look at everything, because I'm just curious. Had the game gone differently and the 49ers did win, I'm just curious if those tiebreakers that we had would have allowed what the results would have been.
Now, if the Niners had won, then you guys would be tied on points,
right,
for the season, and
right.
so there was a series of tiebreakers. So
yeah, so let's pull this up. So here's the final points and everything else and so forth and so on. So obviously 6 points went to Harry. He wound up with 87. I stayed at 75. And Pete, you did edge out.
I edged out the coin by 1 point.
The coin by 1 point. So there you go.
And I was completely conflicted because I really wanted the Niners to win. But
you had to,
I also wanted to beat the coin. Yeah,
exactly. All right. So what were the prop bets? What were the tiebreakers we had?
So the total points, you had 59, and Harry had 58.
So he would have won.
And what was the total? It was 49 or whatever it was, right?
It was 40. It was 20. It was 40.
46.
What was it?
I don't even.
48.
48.
Right? 48.
So had the Niners won, I guess maybe another 7 or another 3, I think Harry would have had you.
Still would have had me. So.
Still would have had you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the I had 48, so technically I won the total points. I was the closest.
There you go.
Poor coin with 32. That was unfair. But that's what you get for being a coin and playing with the big boys. In the coin toss, you guys had heads, and the coin had heads, and I had tails. So you 3 won that. First touchdown was McCaffrey, so you and the coin took one there. Longest touchdown play was the 49ers, 23 yards or whatever it was. 2-point conversion try Harry said there would be one. There was not, so everybody got one for there.
Just surprising, wasn't it?
A little bit. People passing was only 2.
People only 2, yeah.
The coin had 4, and John and I had 3. We were looking for a trick play. The last play was an actual play, so I got that one. Everybody else had a kneel down. MVP was Mahomes. So Harry got that one. And then Taylor Swift cuts. I guess it was 13 is what I came up with, which was the coin. So the coin got 1, so there. So all said and done, John had 3 prop bets, correct? Harry had 4, I had 5, and the coin had 5.
Well, Harry had 3 because you counted the Chiefs with that. If you count them, I had 3, Harry had 3, you had 4, and the coin had 5. The way I'm looking at it.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're right. I counted their. Yes, I counted their the victories, victory in the game. So so we had the same number of prop bets. I guess I lost in prop bets to the coin, which did.
We all lost in prop bets to the coin.
Yeah,
the coin won the prop bets.
That Taylor Swift cuts put him over the top there.
Yeah, it did. The Taylor Swift cuts. I was so.
How did you find out the actual number of Taylor Swift cuts?
Just counted them.
Okay.
Yeah, counted them.
Okay. What was the final again?
13. Yeah. They were, and then they cut to her. It was funny. They cut to her about 6 seconds after they won. And that was the 14th one.
Yeah,
and I was like, yes. I'm like, shit. It's 6 seconds. It's like 6 seconds after the.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Plus, there were a couple during halftime and stuff like that.
I didn't count the halftime ones, but it was
that's what I mean. There were definitely more than 14. There was probably 20.
Right, but we said we did say during the actual
the actual game time. It was so yeah, good job by the coin winning the prop bets.
Good job to the coin winning the prop bets, and once again, congratulations, Harry. This year's champ.
Thank you very much.
All right.
So, how many? You have the coin having 0 props there. Put that back up again.
No, that's the 5 underneath.
Oh,
no,
okay.
That's the points.
Gotcha.
So I was like week, props, gotcha. And then 0 is the points. Yeah, so the number is under word props. Yeah.
So there you go. A good old fashioned stomping by you, Harry.
There you go.
Well, it took till the end of the season, as always. Those playoff games, you can make up a lot of ground. Although I kicked myself for one pick in the playoffs, but other than that, I did pretty well in the playoffs.
You did. You did do well in the playoffs,
and you were consistent.
And the bottom line is, looking at this now, that it doesn't matter with the pick, because even if the 49ers had won, you still would win because we'd have been tied, and you would have been closer.
Right. Even with the overtime, I had the under.
Yeah. You had the points, total points. Yeah. Well, just wait till you see what we do next year. I got a whole.
We're doing this again.
It's gonna be beautiful.
I think we should start this for WNBA games.
WNBA games. There you go.
Tell you what, the WNBA is fun to watch. I'm not saying that sarcastically.
No. And we could talk a little bit about that later. Because actually, I want to talk about one particular, future WNBA player.
Before we get into that,
me?
Yes, you.
I wouldn't even get close to the court.
Before we get to basketball, I don't know if you've heard the news. Obviously, the college football is going to a 12-team playoff, and they're already scheming for 14.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Which supposedly is going to happen in 2026.
That's not the whole story. Also, talk about the guaranteed spots by saying.
Well, here's the thing. Because there's really the college football is admitting right now there's really only 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC. And they each have about 20 teams, and everybody else is dirt. The Pac-12 is gone. The ACC is a junior conference. The Big 12, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is really the end of college football as we know it.
Right.
The money and the greed is just taking over, and they're going to completely ruin the game. So they want to go to 14 teams.
That's
the
even 12.
Big 10 and the SEC get 3 bids, 3 automatic bids. ACC and the Big 12 get 2 automatic bids, and they want to give Big 10 and the SEC champions a first week bye.
Right.
Doesn't matter what their record is.
All right, no, hold on. Doesn't
matter if they have the best records.
I know.
In football, they're just saying it.
Let's talk about that for a
why
second.
would anyone want to be in any other conference other than those two?
I agree with you, but let's go on that premise. So
yeah.
Here's my take on college football, because I actually thought this year I watched more college football. Maybe it was just because I don't know. I'm a boring bastard, and I was home on Saturdays. I don't know, but I actually wouldn't even watch it when I was out about
4 undefeated teams,
right? And I thought there was some good stories this year. My point is this: if you take a team like, let's say this year, Washington or Oregon, or some of the teams that were playing in the Pac-12, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Their level of competition, while maybe not the best, was consistently hard through most of the year. Whereas some of these SEC or Big 10 teams, they don't play anybody tough until the championships round. So if you want to load it up and say these are the 2 conferences that at least for now get priority, then you have to play each other all season long. Maybe there's 3 or 4 out of conference games, but you have to play each other. You got to get at it, and you got to play each other. I don't want to see Alabama running up the score against fucking Chattanooga School for Dentistry in September. I just don't want to see it. I
actually do want to watch that game.
They have a great play where they lay you back and they stick to the thing.
The over is 109 and
they spin the chair. They come out in lab coats.
Lab coats, right?
It's fucking great. Yeah.
Before everybody checks into the game, they got to take a shot of nitrous.
Right. You should see when they play the ophthalmology school. Their helmets have is it better now? Is it better now? Better now?
Yeah, it's a great point you make. I mean, just put everybody in those 2 conferences. You might as well. Right. Why would you want? Look, the Pac-12 is gone. Right. It's the Pac-2, right? It's Washington State and Oregon State. Everyone else is gone. Now, but even in the larger sense beyond that is now you've got teams like USC and UCLA and Cal and stuff traveling across the country to play on the East Coast. The regionalism of college football is gone now.
Which I'm okay with to some degree.
Well, it's okay to make those trips once or twice a year.
Right.
But now you're in a conference which is primarily either
it's a junior pro league. But
the Big 10 doesn't represent the entire rest of the country.
Treat them like big boys.
And the SEC is a very Eastern based
Southeastern. Let's just face it.
Well,
there's the Midwest, there's the Southeast, and there's the West. That's college football. The Northeast there's nothing. Penn State occasionally. It's been that way for a long time.
Well, yeah. Look, the ACC was, with the exception of Florida State, was not a very strong conference this year.
No.
So why would you want to stay in any other conference? Because you've got. Look,
it's going to happen. So my point is, I'm going to roll with it. Okay, I'll even give you your 12 playoff teams, but I don't want it to be some sort of power. No, you got to play each other. You got to play each other, and not just for the and the other thing that they may need to rethink are the conference championships, because they're going to mean way more now than ever before. So is it just you're going to have a playoff series within the conference. So it's almost like you're going to have a SEC and a whatever. What is it? What is the other conference?
The
The
Big
Big
Ten.
Ten.
Big Ten. Yeah.
You're gonna have a playoff series in those, and then let's face it, the winner of those two play each other for the national championship. I mean, that's kind of what it's going to be.
That's basically what it's going to be. I mean, you're going to have at least 3 teams from each of those conferences, and again,
well, I mean, the Pac-12 did well. I mean, they're not. It's not.
But
not the SEC and the Big Ten.
That was my point with the Pac-12.
It's not the ACC. It's
now
it's
the Pac-12 is in the SEC and the Big Ten.
Here's my point about the Pac-12 is that yes, they didn't have Ohio State and they didn't have Michigan and they didn't have Alabama, whatever. But they had a lot of good teams that played each other, it seems like, a lot more than these other teams. And I think that hurt them towards the end of the season. It did
because they couldn't get ranked because they were losing some games.
And they expended more effort. It's like there is something to be said about, walking into a playoff, having, a 12-game lead in September and not having, to grind. You can rest players. Anyway, they have to have more parity in the games. I don't want to see these games in September where it's just 64-3. That's not good football.
No, agreed.
And look, this system's going to make what you're just talking about, Harry, even worse.
I know,
because if you're going to give these buys, well, now you're going to have
you're going to really
whatever Washington State and Oregon State go to now let you have that conference, and you can have a team that's undefeated or has one loss coming out of that conference, and they don't get a bid. Because everything's going to the ACC the SEC and the Big Ten. They're getting 2 automatic bids for the conference champions.
Right.
And they could have a better record than those.
Here's how I would like to see it change. The school can submit preferred opponents, and then the NCAA or the heads of each division make the schedules. And 65% of your schedule needs to be within those 2 divisions. If you're in those 2 divisions, in other words, if you're in the Big Ten or the SEC, you need 65% of your schedule, or whatever the number works out to logistically, has to be in those 2 divisions.
You've got 18 or 19 other teams.
I'm not saying you have to play all the teams. I'm just saying you have to choose. You can't be Appalachian State.
If you don't play everybody else, then how do you judge those 2 teams that both have one loss?
Because
they don't have common opponents.
At least it's you're not picking from here. You're picking from here. And those teams that you're playing against have played
college football
other teams. Well,
I mean, there's no way to get all these.
I mean, if college football was on right now, I'd watch it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think this is the beginning of the end of college football.
Yeah. It's getting greedy and it's getting weird.
The beginning of the end is college football as we know it. It's not the beginning of the end of college football. It's just the beginning of the end of college football as we know it.
But it's pretty much the end of college football.
But
college football is different than it was 20 years ago anyway.
There's going to be these 2 conferences, and everybody else, other than a couple of teams, are going to be basically excluded from the playoff.
Right. But let me ask you something. Don't you think the way that the playoff system was set up this year and the way in which they gauged it was way more equitable than it was in years past? I thought it was.
To a point, yeah.
You could make an argument about Florida State. Blah, blah. Other than that, I thought it was. I thought they did a better job of choosing.
But it was easy. You had 4 undefeated teams,
right? I know
going into the last week.
And why were they
only? Right. The only controversy was Florida State, right. The rest was easy. Texas beat Alabama. Alabama beat.
But if Michigan,
Georgia,
but if Michigan and Alabama and Ohio State had to play a harder schedule, you necessarily wouldn't have as many undefeated teams. What I want to take out of it is the soft schedule undefeated guys with a big name jumping to the top because they beat one team to win their conference championship, or losing their conference championship like in years past and automatically getting into a big bowl and having a shot at the national championship.
That's what can happen here.
I know.
Those 3 automatic bids one of them is definitely going to be whoever loses in the conference championship.
Maybe.
And even the team that wins the conference championship could still have 3 losses, and they get an automatic bid.
I think that the only passes should be for the conference champions. That's it.
I think that they should
put some meat into that.
They should do relegation.
Yeah.
Have the Big Ten and the SEC. They're the 2 conferences that are going to play for the national championship. At the end of the year, you kick out the bottom 3 teams and put 3 other teams in there. And that way everybody at least gets a shot at it, as opposed to Florida State beating their brains out all year, going undefeated, beating everyone in their division.
That's right. Sure. But I mean, they didn't really get. Yeah, with 12 teams, they certainly would have gotten in. But is it becoming the NBA where you're going to have some play-in team? Like there's no benefit to having a good regular season. Then it's just all right. We got to. And now,
not if you're outside of the Big Ten and the SEC. Well, I mean, you got to have an outstanding regular season.
Right.
Plus, you've got Notre Dame. They're talking about giving Notre Dame an automatic bid as an independent. I think Notre Dame should have to join a conference.
I mean,
all right.
It's just they're just. I feel like they got together and they threw this out and they said, yeah, that sounds good, and they put it together in about 15 minutes.
It's all about this. It's more playoff games on TV, televised to make money.
And they're paying these kids now.
And
they're paying these kids now, so they need more money to throw around, which is fine. Yeah. My whole point is, don't fight it. Just don't be stupid about it. I don't care about. There's 20 great college football teams. Have them play each other during the year. Not so we have a better gauge of who's the best. So I don't have to go and say, well, Ohio State beat Michigan, but they also played, Santa's Kris Kringle's School of Elfery,
Want to watch that game too.
And they beat them 76-3.
And they won that, right. It was a blocked punt that really made it 76-3.
That's right.
And not 76.
Those elves can fly. Yeah. Rudolph was on the field yelling. His nose was all fucking, it was fantastic.
No, money is going to destroy college football. So,
all right. I've noted the time. I noted the thing. We're gonna pick this conversation back up again. I've been wanting to do it the last couple of years. In August, we'll do a college football kickoff show. On a very regular show, and we'll not the whole show, but we'll talk about college football. But we'll do that. But out of the time, we'll bring these questions back up again before the season. We'll see where it goes at that point. One other note on football, I did want to bring this up. Just heard this week. Another proposed rule change for the NFL,
college football or NFL,
for the NFL. All right, kickoffs. Another kickoff.
They're not going to kick anymore. They're going to throw the ball from the 40-yard line.
Going to roll the ball. All right, like bowling. If anybody hits, they have to fall over like pins. No, seriously. Another rule change. Here's the deal. Ready? So now picture this. I'll set it up for you. The kicking team, the entire team with the exception of the kicker, sets up at the receiving team's 40-yard line.
Oh, XFL style.
Right. The receiving team sets up at their 35-yard line, 5 yards apart. Okay.
French kiss.
Hold on. The kicker is back at, his own 35, 40, wherever he kicks off at, right? And they can't, and the receiver is back.
They can move until
the receiver's back, by the goal line or wherever he's positioned to catch the ball.
Right.
The kicker kicks off. Neither line can move until the receiver catches the ball. All right.
Yep.
Now, a couple things. Obviously, at this point, it's avoiding the 60 yards of speed built up to hit. Right. So they've only got like maybe 5-10 yards of running before it. So it's a normal play, right? At that point, normal hitting, right? But it'll also make kick returns for touchdowns more prevalent.
I think they need to square dance while the kicker before the ball.
But hold on. Beyond that,
if you can break through that line,
it's like Red Rover. It's like Red Rover.
You just
it's Red Rover is what it is. Red Rover, right? He's got to get through. There's no double and triple and quadruple layers of people of players opponents that he needs to get through. If he just gets through, if he makes one or two cuts and makes it past one or two defenders, he's off to the races.
Well,
So-
but you
right.
can put a spy.
Hold on, well,
You
talk
can
about
put
all
a
this
spy who drops back from the line.
That's the only thing he can do. Somebody has to drop, but he can't move. He cannot move till the ball's caught.
Right, but
Like,
if
he can't even drop
back.
What if the ball falls between the line and the receiver?
Here's the thing. There's where I'm going. Okay, now there's three touchback or rules, whatever. Besides a reception and a run back, there's three other rules. If the ball doesn't make the 20-yard line for whatever reason, all right. So if the ball doesn't make it to the 20-yard line of the receiving team, like if it lands on a 23-yard line, it's deemed out of bounds, and the receiving team gets the ball at the 40-yard line.
That's ridiculous.
40. Okay.
Wait, say that again.
Why do we need so much scoring in the NFL?
If the receiving team, if the ball doesn't make it to the receiving team's 20-yard line for whatever reason, shank punt, shank kick, whatever, wind, if it doesn't make it, let's say even it lands on a 21-yard line and it doesn't make the 20-yard line, okay, it's deemed out of bounds, and the receiving team gets the ball at their own 40-yard line, 40-yard line, okay. If the ball goes into the end zone and out the back of the end zone, or even just lands in the end zone and rolls out, right? Makes the end zone before it lands. All right. That's a touchback to the 35-yard line, not 25.
They're going in the opposite direction.
Line. Right.
So,
right. No, one more.
Okay.
If the ball lands anywhere between the 20 and the end zone, that's a regular touchback, but it goes back to the 20-yard line, not the 25 anymore. It's the 20-yard line. Okay. And the only time that you can do an onside kick anymore, only time, is at the end of the fourth quarter. If you're down and need to get the ball back to even have a chance, and you have to report it. So no fake.
You
can't do it as a surprise
anymore. Everything's horrible about this.
So I have two theories. I have two theories as to why, and we'll talk about all these. I have two theories as to why they're coming up
more points.
With shit like, well, no, that's obvious. Yeah, well, that's what it is, right? It's less injuries and more points. That's what it is. It's getting away for the scores to be all of a sudden we're going to have 100 to 80 scores, right? But whatchamacallit? Now, is it just that? Is it because there's a bunch of, no offense to some Gen Zers that might be listening to this. I doubt there are any, but if there are, no offense to them. But is it that there's a bunch of Gen Zers that have different mindsets about some of this that are liking what's going on in XFL? Or is it that Rob Manfred is so bored that he's having lunch every fucking day with Roger Goodell and giving him stupid suggestions on how he's fucking up baseball, how Goodell could fuck up football?
Well, it's all about pushing people towards gambling. But yeah, so here's one thing. First, what percentage of kickoffs go through the fucking upper? Like, it almost looks like they kick it through the uprights. Like, right. I'm guessing 70% of all kickoffs.
They would all be on the 35-yard line.
Okay,
all of them be on
No. I'm not okay. Number one. So my whole thing is kick off from the 20, your own 20. And make it interesting. If you want to do something about people not being able to get ahead of steam, I'm fine with that. But if you are able from the 20 to kick it and it's a touchback, you start on your own 15. This 20, 30, 45, bullshit. And it makes the end of games horrible because, no, if somebody can kick it from their own 20 and it's a touchback, then you get it at the 15. And that will make it more interesting for people to run the ball out. And if you want to start it so that they can't start running until the ball is caught, I don't give a shit. But
through week 8 of last year's NFL season, 77.2% of kickoffs went for touchbacks.
What did I say? 75?
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah.
So let me give you my solution. Here's what I think. Yeah. I think when you score a touchdown, how long is the extra point?
It's longer now, right?
It's a little bit longer now, right?
It's 30. It's 30 yards or 33 yards.
It's 38.
Like that, maybe.
Make
Is it
the extra
is it
point.
from the?
Make
It's from the
extra
20.
point.
It's from the 25, 20-yard line of 25. So it's 28 yards or 33 yards or something like that.
All right. So you get your 6 points for the touchdown. If you don't go for 2, you got your extra point kick is now 40 yards. You got to kick a 40-yard field goal, basically. If you make it, you get the extra point, and the other team gets the ball at the 20. If you miss, you don't get the point, and the other team gets the ball at the 30.
I mean, I don't know.
That way, there's
You just want to get rid of kickoffs.
There's why not? Why go through this ridiculousness to where the ball lands?
If almost 80% of these kickoffs are going out the back of the end zone,
my point is
no time is coming off the clock.
But
no
they're
time
kicking off from the 40. Of course, they're
Right.
going through the end zone. Kick
Right,
from the
right,
20.
but that's my point. So, but no time's come off the clock. So what's the point?
Kick
Why
from the
have
20.
the play?
I
Why
want to have the
unless
kickoff.
unless you're going to change it so that time can come off and there's going to be a play.
Yes.
That's fine. But if you're going
Right.
to keep it as is and 80% of the plays are going to go for touchbacks, who gives a shit? Just get rid of the damn play and
Get
do
rid
it
of it.
instead.
Just get rid of it.
Kick off from the 20. It'll motivate people to return the ball. And
If you have somebody with a leg that can reach the end
That's what
zone,
they're trying to get rid of.
Right.
They're trying to get rid of the injuries from the kickoffs.
But you could still put them closer, have them fucking hug each other's balls or something to avoid that. Whatever the case might be. My point being is that
Everybody has to put their one hand inside the pants of one of the opponents.
put your hand
before
on
they
the
run
right
down the
thigh
field.
of the person to your right,
Grab them by the belt.
and before the ball is kicked, you have to say hi there.
Hi there.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Uh.
I'd like to see the kickoff stay. Kicking off from the 40 is ridiculous. It's obvious. Kick off from the 20, make it interesting. If you want to, put them closer to the receiver so there's less full-on contact, I'm all for that. Or just keep the extra point where it's at and you get the ball at the 15. Just start at the 15. I'm sick of starting at the 25. It's too easy for teams to move down the field now at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It ruins the end of games.
Here are this is the XFL rule that they're thinking about adopting here.
We don't want to.
So 38%, 2022 in the NFL, 38% of kickoffs returned, 97% of kickoffs returned during the 2020 XFL season, and injuries were down. So less injuries, more kickoffs.
Less injuries.
Or at least more returns.
More returns.
Less
injuries, more returns.
I say just get rid of it.
So that's what I was saying.
Yeah, get rid of it. Get rid of it. You have 0 injuries and 0 returns.
Yeah, I agree. All right.
Or if your quarterback throws a stupid interception, then they have to return the next kickoff.
then they become the receiver for the kickoff. The kickoff return.
If your offensive lineman has a horrible holding penalty, then he has to
kick the ball.
That's the punishment. Forget 10 yards. He then has to either kick or receive. He can choose which.
That's right. Take that.
I like these. I like those.
Or you can randomly at any time in the game make anybody receive or anybody kick.
just
throw down one of those twister pointers and spin it.
Right. That's right.
Points to the safety. You're the kicker.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
Well,
football is stupid and sucks at both the college and pro level.
There you go.
I think we've learned that today.
All right. Let's.
Yet they're still the most popular sports. By far.
Exactly.
And there's one show on ESPN on Fox that will go nameless that still has only talked about football every time I've watched it. They still, yeah.
All right, let's chat really quick about baseball. Couple of it's spring training. All right, so this is our first show. Well into spring training.
The moose balls are blooming.
Moose balls are at the ready. I'm getting this ready.
That's right.
It's giving up.
John's boosting his fiber intake to get ready for the first Mets opening day outburst.
Exactly. It should be a good one. Let's put it that way. All right. Yeah, looking forward to the season. Looking forward to some baseball. Kind of getting spring fever. The other day it was 70 degrees the other day. In Jersey anyway, down here. And it was actually in town. It was our parade day. It was a St. Patrick's Day parade, and it was the first one on the shore in town here. And it was 70 degrees. It was gorgeous. It was a beautiful day. So I'm ready for baseball. Watched a couple of things right now, or as of yesterday. I don't know what it is today, but as of yesterday, ironically, the Mets, or maybe it was a Monday or yesterday. The Mets had, I don't know how the hell this is possible, the lowest ERA in spring training so far. So, I mean, to me that just means that they're going to have the highest ERA in the regular season, but that remains to be seen. I'm just shocked about a couple of people that haven't even been signed yet. But I did want to bring up one thing, and this was the only thing I wanted to bring up because I just have a prop or three, as it were. You'll see in a second. Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, and Justin Verlander. Okay. Three, you could say, I mean, the Mets' main ace for the last how many years, with the exception of, last year, because he obviously left after the year before, after 2022, in Jacob deGrom. And, of course, Max Scherzer and Verlander, with the Mets and everything else. The three of them are going to start this season on the IL. So, foresight, you might say. I don't know, whatever. But here's my point of that, okay? I'm Jersey Johnny. I wear a lot of jerseys. I have a lot of jerseys. I get a lot of jerseys, okay? After the 2022 season, before the 2022 season started, okay? Or right at the beginning of the 2022 season, somewhere in there, early on, all right? Every year I buy, I'll get a couple of jerseys here and there, depending on the deal or depending on who I know. I have a couple of guys I get jerseys from. But I always get one current player's jersey every year for the Mets and the Giants. But those two teams, everything else is a crapshoot. But the beginning of the 2022 season, I got this jersey. What happened after the 2022 season? It's Jacob deGrom, for those of you listening on the audio podcast. Of course, he left the Mets, right?
Yeah.
Didn't come back. Okay. In the offseason, I got this jersey.
Scherzer.
Excellent.
Max Scherzer. He left the Mets and got traded after, before the trade deadline. Okay. During the 2023 season, I bought this jersey. Justin Verlander. At the trade deadline, he was traded. So I say to any of you, the two of you or anybody out there, if there's a player on the Mets that you no longer want to see on the Mets, let me know and I will buy the jersey this year.
Yeah.
Now,
does it have to be a pitcher?
It can be anybody. Maybe
your
it does
extends to everyday players as well.
Well, we'll find out. You know what though? I can't. That isn't true because during the 2020 season, I bought a Pete Alonso jersey. He's still on the team. At least for this year. We'll see what happens there.
Maybe it's just pitchers. So I think I'll throw it back at you. You should just.
And in 2021, I bought Francisco Lindor, and he's still on the team. So
you should just buy a jersey of someone you don't like and
somebody I don't want. Yeah. But will the same mojo work?
I don't know.
Because I don't like him. Will they sign him to a 30-year deal worth $10 billion?
I think you just bought high-profile pitchers who were on the cutting block once the Mets decided that we're bailing shit.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of head scratchers there, right? It's not like they were going to be on the team. But my point is, right? Within several months of me buying each of those jerseys, each of those pitchers were no longer on the Mets. That's my point. It wasn't like a year and a half later they left. It was that year or earlier.
Well,
so
anyway,
but we'll see. I just figured I'd put it out there. Anybody has a player or specific, maybe a pitcher that you don't want to see on the Mets any longer, let me know. I'll buy the jersey this year. So, all right. Either of you have anything else in baseball? I mean, what we'll do more, obviously, as spring training rolls along. We get closer to opening day is 3 weeks from tomorrow. So we only have another show, one of the show before opening day. So
I mean, Carlos Rodon's ERA is under 7 in spring training.
Actually, we have 2 shows. No, just one other show. One other show before opening day. That's it. So, Carlos Rodon. Maybe they'll work with the Yankees. I'll buy a Rodon jersey for you if you want.
Well, I don't want him to leave. I just want him to be good.
No, maybe I'm saying maybe they'll back. Maybe it'll be the opposite for the Yankees. So we'll see.
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. Either of you have anything else in baseball?
No. I didn't even know. I don't know anything about baseball anymore. Who won the World Series last year? Twins?
That would be the Texas Rangers.
Yes, I remember.
What I know about baseball is,
in case you were serious, I wasn't quite sure. So,
well, you know what? Let's. I'll save it for. Are they for real?
Okay, fair enough. All right. Okay.
The over under is, will Pete become completely zoned out on baseball in May or April?
Well, it's going to be April. Pete might get to May.
Right. For me,
yeah. For you, it's going to be after opening day. That's it. For you, it might be March for you. You're done. So, anyway, all right. I did want to bring up the fact that I did have just a quickie, but it had to do with football, and we saved it from 2 weeks ago. Harry, remember? It was the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Ranked these close Super Bowls, but I'm not going to do that. Okay. We're too far past the Super Bowl to go back and talk about other Super Bowls. So we'll save it. I'll file it away. We'll use it next year.
There's one sport that's at their peak right now, and we haven't talked about it at all.
Well, that's why we're going to talk about it right now. There you go. Okay, let's kick off. No pun intended.
Tip off.
Let's tip off NBA with our NBA question of the week.
Ooh.
All right. So let's get it going with our NBA question of the week. So
NBA question of the week.
There you go. That's all we need. Something like that. That's it. Little a couple of hits behind it or something. And that's it.
Right.
All right. It's a 2-parter. Okay.
Part
what was that from? What was that in Back to School? I have only one question for you in 27 parts. There we go. All right. It's 1, 2. It's East and West. So East. Let's go East first. All right. The number 1 seed in the East right now is the Boston Celtics. Okay. Do they finish the regular season at number 1 in the first seed? Harry, you go first.
The regular season, yeah. The
regular season.
They're going to be the number 1 seed.
They'll be the number 1 seed, definitely. All right. Pete?
What is there, 20 games left?
Yeah, it's only 20 games left. So, yeah.
They do.
I think they do.
Okay. All right. I mean, the Bucks are they have a 7-9
Bucks
game.
Bucks are on the way up, but
I didn't say they were going to. I didn't say they were going to go to the NBA Finals. I said they're going to be the number 1 seed in the East.
So I'm asking: are they going to be the number 1 seed in the East?
I think they will
go to the playoffs.
Yeah. They will. Yes, they will.
All right. Fair enough. I do agree with that, by the way. And then the second part is the West. Right now, the Timberwolves are the number 1 seed. Do they finish the season as the number 1 seed?
Well,
they only have a half-game lead on Oklahoma.
Yeah, and the Nuggets are 1.5 back because they lost last night.
Nuggets are one game back.
Okay.
Right now.
Look, the Nuggets have a big. They started out right after the All-Star game, and they've done pretty well. They've had a lot of tough games. Their schedule gets a little easier. Minnesota's is a little tougher. I'm not convinced with the Nuggets bench depth, and Minnesota's been able to hold on this long. I'm not sure it's not going to be Oklahoma City. But I'm going to say that Minnesota will drop to the 2nd seed. I don't know who's going to. I hope it's the Nuggets, but I have a feeling Oklahoma City might squeeze in there.
Hey, the Clippers aren't too far behind either.
Yeah, Clippers are losing to Houston tonight by 20 something. So I don't know. They're a little.
Yeah, I don't think they can stay consistent enough.
Okay, so both of you say no. The Timberwolves will not.
Pete didn't say no.
No, I think Harry's.
Oh, you're talking about the Clippers. You're talking about the Clippers.
Yeah, the Clippers. Yeah, they're not consistent enough. No, I don't think Minnesota can hang on for another 20 games.
All right.
OKC and Denver they're just too good.
Yeah.
So I don't think they'll.
And look, Phoenix is playing good ball, and if they get Booker back, they're pretty far down. But we'll see.
Fair enough. I agree with both of you too on that as well. So yes on the Celtics, no on the Timberlakes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which was the original name, but never mind.
The Viking Wolves.
The Viking Wolves, right?
Yes.
Anyway, the Wolvers. Anyway, okay. So there you go. There's your NBA.
That's a lesson in going one too far.
One too far. There you go. Less is more.
Always looking for that last one. Nope.
No.
Know when to say no.
Leave it alone.
You should have Costanza. You needed to Costanza. All right, thank you.
One too far.
I'm out of here.
Ironically, that was the original name of this podcast. One too far.
One too far.
All right. So anyway, could you continue on the that to get us into our NBA chat? Yeah. No. Look. There's a lot moving around here. I mean, the Knicks. I mean, is that a mass unit or what over there? I mean.
Yeah,
it's disgusting what the hell's going on.
The question mark, I think Brunson's going to be okay, and I understand why they're being cautious with him. The biggest question mark for me is, will OG come back sooner? I mean, he was supposed to be back last week, and what is really going on with Randall? If Randall's not healthy, this Knicks team has no chance.
No,
and it's too bad because I actually thought. Julius Randle was having a hell of a season. I thought
he was.
Yeah.
Your thoughts were right. However, what did you text the other day?
It's unfortunate.
A little snake bit this year.
Yeah.
I mean, everything was falling in place, and you knew that a shoe was going to drop. It's just it was too good to be true. This isn't. This doesn't happen.
So
it hasn't happened in 20-some years.
Do they make a move to try and bolster their chances here?
I don't know who's out
or
there.
Do they go, listen, we're going to be in the playoffs unless we fall off a cliff, which
they're going to make it, but they're sliding pretty quickly.
Yeah, three out of their
going to make it. I don't
have been wins, but
maybe they could bring
Carmelo. Well, we just
Carmelo
try
back.
and get healthy. We'll make it in, and we'll do what we'll do. Or do they say, let's get somebody in here who's going to help us?
Well,
when we get healthy, we'll be in even better shape.
I think you can only answer that by knowing how serious is Brunson? Is it really nothing to worry about? And number two, where's Randall? Until you know those two answers, you can't really.
But with Brunson, it's something different every other week. It's something,
right.
His neck, his leg, his ass.
It's the Jamal Murray. He's the Jamal Murray of the Knicks. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's. I'm concerned about Randall, and long term, from what I've read, he should probably wrap it up for the season and have surgery. But he's trying to rehab, but it's one of those injuries that's really painful to play through. Mm-hmm. And could he do it? Sure, but he's got to come back within the next 2 or 3 weeks, or else I don't think they have enough time.
At that point. It's pointless. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of questions like that. I mean, there's the same question with Embiid. If he's healthy, do you bring him back? And I think the answer there is I think the answer there is yes, because the Sixers, at least last week, had a couple big wins without him. So, I think the Knicks and the Sixers are a different story. The Knicks, of course, it's just 3 major injuries, and to 3 of their top 4 players, and maybe the top 3 players.
Just 3. That's all.
Just three.
Well, that's not many on an NBA team.
Not at all.
Well, and on a Tom Thibodeau team where he relies big minutes on his starters,
right?
It shows. look, and some guys have stepped up. DiVincenzo's looked okay at times, although he's not a great defender. Josh Hart has gotten some significant minutes, which might help in the playoffs.
But those are not guys that you want to have to count on every night to carry you.
So to answer your question, I think they made a lot of those moves, which is helping them plug the dam right now. The Bohan and some of these other guys,
which is why they're 3-7 in the last 10 and not 0-10,
right?
Or 1-9. Yeah,
I don't know who else is out there, and you're not going to find a 30-point-a-game point guard or a 2012 power forward who can handle the ball. You're not going to really be able to plug them in. I think if they were hurting in their second team, then I'd say, yeah, go out and make a move. But I just think it's
so hang on, hopefully get healthy and make whatever run you can.
Right.
Exactly.
All right.
We'll see. All right. And then West-wise, we talked about it already. Clippers not consistent enough to maintain. Are they consistent enough to maintain the 4 slot?
Well,
or even drop it to 5?
Westbrook's been out. They've been playing good ball. They lost a couple close games. The West is tough. Everybody, there's 5 or 6 teams that, you catch them on a dub back-to-back, or you catch them on a game after. There's a lot of competition there, and there's a lot of
my point is,
if you look at 5 through 9 in the West, they're all within 2 or 3 games of each other.
Yeah,
and that's so you've got Minnesota, Oklahoma, Denver, and I think the Clippers are a couple more games. The Clippers are sort of in man's land.
I think the top 4 teams are just that.
There are a few games back of the Nuggets. So I wouldn't put them really in the mix with the top 3.
No, but they're the fourth. But they're the 4th best team in the West.
That's my point. That's what I was asking.
And they're going to stay there.
That's what I was asking. I was like, are they better? Are the Clippers,
the Suns, and the Kings, and the Mavericks, and
the team
are into the mix if you want.
The team that I think will make the biggest move before the end of the year. They're not going to bypass the Clippers, but I think the Suns. I think the Suns are playing good ball. I think that they've got some good role players. They're getting, great shooting out of the little asshole from Duke. So,
which is his given name, by the way.
If Booker comes back, then I think that they're better than some of those other teams that have been very inconsistent. But yeah, the Clippers are the 4th best team in the West.
That's what I was asking. I was like, are the Clippers? They're not consistent enough. They're not consistent enough to jump up above, into 3, 2, or 1. But are they consistent enough to hold the Pelicans and the Suns?
Because they can beat those teams because they're a veteran squad, and if one guy has a bad night or is shooting well, they have got 2 or 3 other guys who can step up. Where the Clippers, I think, suffer a little bit are against teams that have some size where they can beat them in the paint. So that's my thoughts on the Clippers.
Fair enough. All right. Well, there you go.
Wouldn't want to face them in the playoffs, though.
No.
Don't want to take them on in the first round. They could easily be a giant killer.
Yeah. And even though he's had a couple rough years and injuries have been horrible to him, I never want to play Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs. I still think him, Jimmy Butler, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, they're different players in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They're just different.
Fair enough. All right. And there you have it. That sounds good. All right. And want to touch on a little bit of hockey there?
Well, actually, can we
have more
with basketball?
Go back. I'll go back. Yeah.
Just for a little bit, because
didn't know you had anything. I apologize, sir.
No, it's all right. Well, it's everybody's talking about Caitlin Clark.
Well, I was gonna go to.
Are we gonna
WNBA after?
In the third hour, we're gonna get to women's college.
We could talk about it now. I'm just saying I was gonna do it, so let's do it now.
Oh, okay.
His thinking was hockey, white people, Caitlin Clark. That's how he was.
I have a few other basketball things that I was going to get to college after, like March
All right, well,
Madness
let's do
coming up here,
let's
dude.
do hockey then, because I got nothing for hockey.
There you go.
I don't know who gives a shit.
No, all I want to say is that congrats. It didn't hold up well until today for me to say it since the last show. But last week the Rangers became the first team to 40 games, and they had the most points. And that's not true anymore, but at least it was at one point last week.
Right.
So
They've had a couple of rough games.
I had a couple of rough games. Yeah, they've been well. I mean, the last 10, they're 7-2-1. So I mean, that's I'll take 7-2-1 of every 10 all the time, right?
Right.
But it's just that the Panthers, not in their division. I mean, Rangers are still in first place in the Metropolitan. So, but as far as the East goes, they're getting hot. Third place. They're in third place, right? And the Panthers and the Bruins. The Panthers are 9-1-0 in the last 10. But the Bruins are 4-1-5 in the last.
Panthers first team to 90 points. They're 9-1, won 6 in a row, plus 61.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a repeat of last year's NHL finals?
Who knows? But Dallas Stars too. I mean, they're looking to the west over there, and Vancouver, and
when was the last time you saw the Winnipeg Jets?
Winnipeg Jets up there, yeah. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of interesting teams. Playing well this year. But
look at Vancouver. 87 points.
87
they're on
points.
a little bit of a slide right now, but yeah.
No, they're 4-5-1. They won the last two. But.
It's hockey. Take all common sense out of it and pick the team that sneaks into the playoffs.
Well, that's it, right? So
divide by Toronto and carry an expansion team, and then you got your playoff winners.
Exactly. So
but if they play someplace that's 95 degrees during the NHL finals, odds are they're going to win it.
Exactly. Whatchamacallit got so we'll do it as the next time we do hockey in a show. I'll do that quiz. I saw this on a meme the other day, not a meme, a video the other day. But anyway, we'll do that then. But anyway, that's all I got. I just want to talk about the Rangers and the Panthers playing
Rangers and
hockey
Panthers and Bears.
Oh my! Well, yeah, the Bears aren't doing as well.
No,
the Bears aren't doing as well. No, they're not.
That was the Denver Bears.
There you go. Cool. All right, there you go. I got let's do the Are They For Real? Let's break it up and do the Are They For Real, and then we'll come back to the NCAA for Caitlin Clark and all of that. So let's get the
we got a 27-minute intro now.
Yeah, we got that.
I'll be back in a minute.
You got it. Gotta love it. It's all good.
Yeah, everybody go get yourself a sandwich here.
How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Pretty sure none of that's real.
You're not real.
For real. Yeah.
Are you for real? For real? For real? For real?
Not for real.
For real?
What is real?
All right, are they for real? We got a bunch of stuff here.
All right.
Are they for real can mean many things, as in, are they good? Are they not good? Are they going to do this? Are they not going to do this?
Are they spectacular?
Are they spectacular, or are they whatever the opposite of spectacular is? Unspectacular, I guess.
Unspectacular.
That's the opposite, isn't it?
Horrific.
Horrific.
Let's start. Well,
fucking
that would
stay
be
away.
terrific. Would be the opposite.
Stay away.
Anyway, let's start off. Let's talk hockey. Since we were just talking hockey, Austin Matthews on pace for 73 goals for the Toronto Maple Leafs also.
The Maple Leafs.
Apparently, it hasn't been done in 30 some odd years. I think the last couple
93,
guys
right?
do it. Two guys, Alexander Mogilny and Teemu Selanne, one of the great hockey names.
Yeah, a lot of vowels.
Both got over 70. I think they had
72 and 75, something like that. Yeah.
Something in 1992 and 93.
93.
So He's on pace for 73. So is he for real? Will he get there? Yes or no?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think he'll get 70. I think it's going to be a lot like Judge, where he'll put one in the net in the last game and get 70.
Get to 70. All right. All right. Let's talk a little NBA. Who is the least for real? Between Washington, Detroit, and San Antonio. Now, San Antonio was really, really, really horrible for a good portion of the year. They have 13 wins right now, and that's really moving up for them.
Wemby's
Since they moved Wembanyama from the center position, I think, to the power forward, from the power forward.
Fanawama.
They moved him to point guard. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and he has flourished, and the team has not exactly flourished, but done a lot better than they did. But they're in the mix. Washington and Detroit both have 9 wins. Washington, by the way, was 0 for February. I don't know if you knew that.
The worst.
Their streak. They have the best streak in basketball right now. They have 15 losses in a row.
Yes,
they're the least. They're the least for real.
Detroit was on pace to set, I think, the all-time record for most consecutive losses, but they have since won actually 9 games this season, so they have 9. Washington have 9.
Actually won 10, but one was gifted to the Knicks. But yeah,
well, yeah. That was the foul that wasn't. So we're gonna say who is for real amongst. Well, let's just say Washington and Detroit, because they are going to play on March 29th.
Detroit will win. Detroit will win.
I agree. Detroit will win. Washington
is more horrible.
So worst to best would be Washington, Detroit, San Antonio.
Yes.
All right. Mm-hmm. And we all think Detroit's going to win on the 29th.
Detroit's playing good ball. I feel sorry for them sometimes. I feel like there's a better camaraderie there, believe it or not, when you watch them. Like they've lost a lot of closer games. Washington just seems like, wow, this is a mess.
I don't think they're even trying.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're trying.
It's a mess.
Exactly.
All right. Next up is baseball.
You bet. Baseball, you bet.
To me, there's the Dodgers, and then there's everybody else. Now, I'm not saying I think they're going to necessarily win, because they have a history of not winning everything.
No,
and I still think the Phillies and the Braves could beat them in the playoffs. But they are by far the cream of the crop when it comes to baseball heading into the season. So, with respect to winning the National League pennant, rank them for real. Dodgers, Phillies, Braves. In your mind, who is the most likely?
Oh, the Dodgers by
to win the most likely to win the pennant. So go to the World Series.
Rank 1, 2,
3. The Dodgers, they're so deep.
Yeah, I mean, well,
pitching.
You're right.
Yamamoto, they got Ohtani, they got Betts, they got Freeman.
On paper, it's 100% Dodgers, and then after that, I would say Braves, then Phillies.
They both shit the bed last year, though. The Braves shit the bed in the playoffs too.
Right.
Bad.
They all did, right? So
Phillies not so much.
The Phillies not so much. The Phillies
actually overperformed last year, in my humble opinion.
But but you got to factor everything, though, right? It's not just what the paper says. All right, it's everything. It's LA's history, right? I mean,
I think they break it.
They can win 108 games in the regular season and lose in the first round of the playoffs.
Right. They're like the Dallas Cowboys of
They are.
They win and strike short in their COVID seasons. Yeah.
Strike shortened and COVID shortened seasons. Exactly.
Yeah. Sure. Susu Studio. I just think there's too much there, and there's too much veteran play, and unless they really get decimated with injuries. Now, there's some question marks in the pitching staff, but the depth of the pitching staff for the Dodgers this year is even beyond what they had last year by twofold. So,
and they don't even have Ohtani pitching.
No, not until next year.
And Ohtani's not pitching.
Yeah.
So, on paper, the Braves should be number 2. Something about that Phillies team. I don't know if they could do it again. I mean, How far can you go with a 180 hitting Kyle Schwarber who either strikes out or hits a home run? I don't know. The Braves should be better than the Phillies. There's just that Phillies team last year. There was something about them. I don't know if they could do it again, but I don't know. They look like they have fun when they play, and I don't think there's as much pressure on them.
Phillies and Braves 1A.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, you could say that.
And look, there's a couple teams there's a team that went to the World Series last year that we're not talking about, which in their defense, a lot of young players coming back. Yeah. And some good deep pitching. So
and a pile of experience now.
Right.
Yeah.
And a division where they can sit behind the Dodgers and kind of cruise through it. San Diego's going to be better. They almost have to be. But yeah.
Well, right now in spring training,
really hard luck.
Right now in spring training, and I know this is just spring training, right? And not that they play each other, but the second best record in spring training thus far is between both leagues, Grapefruit League and Cactus League, is the Dodgers, right, at 10-3. There's only one team with a better record than them, and that's in the Grapefruit League, and that's the Orioles at 11-2.
Orioles had a good year last year too. And to Pete's point, they have another year of experience under their belt, and that should help them.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Last up, I'm not quite sure how to phrase this. We had the Women's CONCACAF Gold Cup going on.
The what Gold Cup? The Coffee Cup?
CONCACAF, which is the anagram for the division.
What sport are we talking about?
Soccer, women's soccer. So we had the Team USA crapping out in the World Cup and losing.
Yeah, they won. They won last night, right, or 2 nights ago?
Well, this was like a week and a half ago. They lost to Mexico.
Oh, but then they won
in the qualifiers. Now they went on to the Cup tournament because they had enough wins, so the loss didn't affect them. But I guess my question is the rest of the world in women's soccer finally catching up, or has it caught up? Are we headed into an era where the United States is not as dominant as they have been, and these other teams are better, or is this just sort of a second blip on the screen after the World Cup fiasco? And don't forget, we talked about what's her name, Emma Mays, or whatever the coach's name, that's coming from some team in Europe. It's still not here. I think she's coming in May to coach. Mm-hmm. But the U.S. women's team, my point is, they continue to struggle. So are they just struggling because they have an interim coach and they're maybe not quite on the path they need to be? Or is the rest of the world catching up? Is the rest of the world for real? Or is the USA just stumbling right now?
Yes to both. Yeah, yes to both.
Okay.
Yeah, because what we saw was the dream team of women's soccer. And they're retiring. They're getting older. And remember, the U.S. basketball team after the dream team still had some great players on it, but they didn't win all the time. So I think the rest of the world's catching up. Canada seems to be the cream of the crop right now. Mm-hmm. And I think the U.S. it's going to be a couple years before they're back being the world beaters that they were.
They will be back with this coach coming over. Harry's 100% right. I was going to say the exact same thing. It's both, right? The United States is playing a little off their game, shall we say? But the rest of the world is catching up. Now, that's not to say that if the U.S. wasn't off their game, they'd be blowing the doors off the rest of the world. They wouldn't be. Obviously, things would be a little bit closer than it's been because of the catch up, the narrowing of the gap, if you will. But I do think with that coach Emma, whatever her name is, I forget.
Emma Hayes,
Emma Hayes, coming to the U.S. I think that's going to make a difference. Not as big a difference as has been in the past, but enough to keep them up where they've been. Maybe not so far above everyone else, but up where they've been.
Hey, look, guys! In exactly 40 minutes. We're going to find out because the United States plays Canada tonight in the in the Gold Cup. So
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
All right, that's it for Are They For Real?
That was it for Are They For Real? Cool. All right. And I look at that. I forgot to put up the crawl for that. Look at that. But, well.
No one knew what we were doing.
No one knew what we were doing. Damn it.
is there anybody out there?
Our deaf audience is going to have no idea what we were talking about.
Anybody there?
There you go. All right. I got a four got to stay for you.
Oh, all right, great.
Got a four got to stay for you. Four got to stay. It's late winter spring sports events all time. Okay. Your opinions. This is for each of you. Four got to stay. You get the deal. I'll give you six. Four got to stay. Two got to go.
All right.
All right. Write these down. Write these down.
Don't tell me what to do.
Well, then remember them. One or the other.
All
All right. Write these down. Here we go. First day of spring training.
right.
Opening day of baseball. The NFL draft. You writing these down or you just remembering them?
I'm remembering.
I'm writing them down, but I'm going to forget them.
There you go.
I'm gonna have Pete read them back to me.
I'm going to forget to look at the paper after I write them down.
I'm going to turn it over and then try and remember what they were.
There you go. Now it's funny, Pete. I asked you that because your video stuck, and I thought you were just staring.
Oh no, I'm writing them down. Yeah, I'm going to take a nap with my eyes open. Just anything related to the Giants, get rid of.
San Francisco Giants. They signed Chapman.
There you go. And NFL draft, NBA All-Star Weekend.
Oh God. Did that already happen?
This is a clunkers list.
So no. These are you got to pick four of your favorite four of these six. That's how we're doing it.
There are no such thing as four of
Well,
my
I got one.
It doesn't matter. It can be whatever. So,
All right.
NFL All-Star Weekend.
Which of these would you most like to
I'm not done. There's two others.
In
All
hell.
right, give us the last two.
NFL, the start of NFL free agency.
And the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue.
Of course, right? And March Madness.
I got three for you. I can't give you.
So,
boy.
Look. So, first day of spring training, opening day of baseball, NFL draft, NBA All-Star Weekend, NFL free agency, and March Madness. What four of those six would you keep? Now, you can hate one of them, one of the four. But if you hate it less than the other two, then it's on your four list. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
All right. So
who's going first?
I want Pete to go first.
All right. Jesus. All right. Well, March Madness obviously has to stay.
Clearly.
That's it.
That's it.
For me.
That's my four.
The rest can go fuck themselves. Groundhog's Day on there?
I would put opening day on the list, but now it's all stupid and they don't do it like they used to.
Just because they changed the kickoffs.
Going back to everybody playing opening day, is that right?
Wait, what's that?
Didn't I read that they're going back to like everybody playing on opening day with the new schedule and stuff?
I don't know.
Instead of having teams in Japan play first or whatever.
Well, they can't.
They're going to change the kickoffs though.
Right. Exactly. No, I believe everybody's playing.
Only relief pitchers can kick off.
All right, so
from their own bullpen.
Because I have to put something on the list, I'll say opening day.
Mm-hmm.
NFL free agency, I don't think so. That would be when I die and go to hell, it'll be NFL free agency all day.
That just be playing on a loop.
Spring training, I don't care about, but I don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
And NBA All-Star, I don't think so.
Well,
I'd rather watch the draft.
Yeah.
I'd rather watch the draft. So, spring training, opening day, the NFL draft, and March Madness.
All right.
My list of things to do in hell.
There you go. All right, Harry.
All right, March Madness is number one. I would say the NFL draft is number two. Opening day and the NBA All-Star game is those are my top four. Spring training.
The All-Star
Fucking
game.
cares. You know why I liked it this year? Because of I like that Sabrina Ionescu was in the 3-point shooting contest
with Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Well, they're going back to East versus West. Did they do that this year, or is that for next year?
No, they did this year.
So, and that's better, right? Better than
it was better. Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like 500 to 450. I think was the final score.
Well, they showed highlights of, I think it was the 1989 NBA All-Star game where Mike Jordan was playing, but it was like Bird scored like 27 points, and the fourth quarter was just vicious. And I think the final score was like 146 to 132 or something. I mean, it was close, but I mean, they were playing. Yeah. I don't know. NFL free agency, spring training. You guys are way more into the whole this time of year baseball thing. Let me know when the C leaguers go back down to where they need to go.
I'm going to remind you of that when you go into a 15-minute tirade on the Yankees in the second week of May.
Well, second week of May, that's the regular season. It's not spring training. Yeah. By then they should be fucking ready. And yes.
All right.
I know their pitching's going to suck.
If you're playing along at home, mine are exactly the same as Pete's. First day of spring training, opening day, NFL draft, and March Madness. Those are my my four.
Yeah, I mean, that's not my 1 to 4. That's just the 4 that I would.
No, I didn't. You didn't have to rate them. I just wanted your top 4. It doesn't matter.
March Madness is here, right? I mean, everything else sort of filters down.
Is this Sunday Selection Sunday?
I think so. What is Selection Sunday? Is that the draft?
The selection for the
setting
up the brackets.
Tournament.
Oh, okay.
The tournament. And even that for me has lost some of its luster. Yeah. Because now, they only play Thursday through Sunday instead of 2 straight weeks, and it takes a month.
People should be able to fuck off at work all week long.
Not just Thursday and Friday.
Me, that was part of the greatness of the tournament. You had to pick the days that you were gonna, call in sick or whatever, and find a way to put the game on.
Bring a television. Remember when you used to bring a television to the office?
Listen, now you can just put in a little earpiece that no one can see, and you can listen to the game.
Just watch it on your phone. Nobody puts it in. Nobody gives a shit. They can't fire you anymore.
Yeah, and most everybody in the office is watching the damn thing anyway, including your bosses. So that's the difference.
I don't know. I agree with you. I don't think it's quite as popular as it used to be.
Yeah, I still like it.
It might have more eyes because of the scheduling, but. It's there's just something about the break and everybody resting, and you know what I mean. It kind of takes that, this team had a longer game, they had an overtime game or whatever. It kind of takes that element out of it because you do have that 3-day break in between each.
I agree. I don't like that.
I mean, it was a real tournament of warriors before. You play every other day for 2 weeks straight. Now you don't do that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Back when Clark Kellogg was ruling the NCAA.
Yeah, Clark Kellogg was absolutely.
Kenny Skywalker was floating above the rim.
Of course, they also had cocaine to help them get through those back-to-back.
Well,
Anyway, all right. Let's talk about a couple things with NCAA and let's talk about it's Caitlin Clark. Let's face it, it's Caitlin Clark. So kudos to Caitlin Clark. Pete, you take it off because you were bringing it up. I have a couple things on it.
All right. Couple of questions. All right. So we found out a few days ago she's going to the NBA.
All right.
WNBA.
WNBA. If she was going to the NBA, that would be newsworthy.
I think major news. She can come off the bench for the Nuggets now. I'm telling you.
She's going to the WNBA. There was some question about with the money that college players can make. She probably has the ability to make more money in college than she does in the pros. I think it's like $75,000.
Really?
Yeah, it's the starting salary in the WNBA for.
But she just wants to get out of Iowa.
But look, she's doing national commercials and stuff, so a lot of that, NIH money or whatever it's called, is going to transfer over. Probably not all of it, but some of it. So she'll be fine monetarily.
Mm-hmm.
So my number one question is. Now the players are making money in college. Is there something else that we should be doing or that the NCAA should be doing to try and keep players in the league a little bit more? Now, the women's game is not the same as the one and done that the very best players in the men's game.
Most of them most of them play 3 or 4 years.
Right, exactly. But certainly on the men's side, is there something the NCAA could do to kind of make some of those guys stick around a little bit longer? And what do you think of her decision? She's making the right decision.
Show them a highlight reel of Zion Williamson. I don't know.
Good one.
I mean, the money in the NBA is just it's just so enticing.
Yeah. That's the biggest difference.
Right. Is she making the right decision? You know what? I do. I think she's just get out, get in there, get doing it. She's gonna get her endorsement money. It's not all about money either, right? She wants to take the next step, right? She's done her 4 years. She has another year of eligibility, but
right.
Yeah,
she's not playing against the best right now.
She's not playing against the best right now.
WNBA, she's going to play against the best.
She's got her record. She beat Pistol Pete's record the other day. So there's no other threshold or milestone for her to get to in college other than just playing another year and then going.
Well, that's actually there is, and that's my next question.
Go ahead. What's that?
Well, she's the highest scorer in NCAA history, men's or women's. But does she need to win a title, which she has not done, in order to be considered one of the greatest college players ever? Is the scoring enough, or does she need to be a title? Because you look at all the greats, right?
Except Maravich.
Miller, Swoops, Sue Bird, to name just a few. They all won college titles and WNBA titles, which she might win. Does she need to win a college title to be one of the greatest college players ever, or is the scoring enough?
I don't think that's true. No, I don't think she does. And furthermore on that, does Iowa have a guaranteed lock on winning the championship, winning it?
No, they don't.
Next year?
No.
So
they don't have a lock on it this year or next year.
Right. So
they have a much better, close to a lock if she plays another year. But if she doesn't win it this year,
they don't have the team. Look, part of the reason why her and Maravich had such great records was because they were on teams that were good but never won a championship. Part of that is because she's a great facilitator, she's a great player, but she's taking 22 shots a game. You know, if she was on a team with 2 other scorers on it and first team All-Americans,
she's leading her team in assists.
I understand that.
Well
let me finish. Okay, if her numbers wouldn't be as good, but she might win a championship. You know, if she had the sort of team behind her. No one. The reason why Iowa is where they're at is because of Caitlin Clark. They're not going to win it. They're not going to win it.
Is that me? Is that you?
I don't know.
Pete, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Maybe I froze.
Yeah, I didn't have any issues here.
No, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah. I can hear you again. But did both of you hear me, or did I freeze?
Yeah, I think you froze.
Both of you froze for me. I couldn't hear you or see you.
No, I think it was on your end. Everything.
Harry was like, and he stopped like that. So that's what I heard.
Oh no, everything was fine here.
I don't even see you now. You're just black.
Oh.
Harry's back. You're both audio's back. But anyway, no, I agree. I don't think she needs to play another year. There's no guarantee she's going to win a championship. You know, if she was going to transfer to UConn for next year. Yeah, maybe she does that so she can win the championship with UConn and then but
UConn's not the team they used
to.
No,
I'm just whatever. Another team that has a team that is close to having a lock to win it this year. She transfers there. Forget about it. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, but short of that, no. Then that's not going to happen anyway. So yeah, just go. You know, get out of there, get drafted, and start making a name for yourself in the WNBA. That's it.
All right. Well,
go into the obscurity of the WNBA.
Go into the obscurity of the WNBA.
Iowa's ranked number 3 right now.
Yeah, they're just. If you look at them, I mean, South Carolina is a behemoth,
and South Carolina's the best.
But hey, if she can go into the playoffs and average 45 points a game, then maybe they have a shot at winning the title.
They've got a shot. They're number 3. I think USC is a better team when push comes to shove. I think they're playing good basketball right now. They have a chance, but I think it's between Stanford and South Carolina. I mean, they're 29-0.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So
There you go.
okay. So let me ask you guys about this, because there's been talk about the comparison to Maravich, and it seems fairly monumentally stupid to compare the men's game and the women's game. And I don't mean that in a sexist way. It's just they're different. But there's a lot of talk going on around this now with, oh, Maravich, he only played 3 years. He wasn't allowed to play as a freshman. He was only in 100 or 83 or 4 games compared to Clark's 130. There was no three-point play. Clark's hit 500 and some odd three-pointers, so take those 500 points off, and he still has more points. They also, I guess somebody went back and looked, they charted all his shots, and they said, oh, he would have averaged 50 some odd points a game, and he would have had more, and she wouldn't be the points leader, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
It seems silly to compare the two.
The only reason why they're comparing him is because she beat his record.
Right. But I mean,
and they do have similar games. They both of them
but they're not. Yeah. They're not in the same category. They can't possibly be.
Here's the thing here's the comparable. Okay, they both, and we're a little young to remember Maravich in college, but if you really go back, he was the story. He was a showman. Right. He was doing things that no one else did, much like Caitlin Clark. He didn't win a championship. I hope Caitlin wins a championship, but if she doesn't, there's a lot of comparisons there. High scoring average,
similarities.
Great shooter, best shooters to probably ever play the game. Is Caitlin Clark the most overall best female basketball player to ever play? I can't answer that, but I'm going to say no. I think people like Diana Taurasi and Cheryl Swoops and Cheryl Miller, and these were better overall players. They played in an era where scoring was less, and a lot of them were at the early stages of the three-pointer and not where we're at today. It's not taking anything away from Caitlin Clark, but there is a similarity to Clark and Pete Maravich, much like there's a similarity between those two and Steph Curry. They're doing something from a shooter's perspective that you cannot take away from them. Now, Maravich went to the NBA, didn't necessarily live up to his expectations. He's still had some good years, never won a championship, battled injuries, had some good years, but was not what he was in college. Much like Bill Walton was never what he was in college in the NBA. There's a long list of college players who have never lived up to their college resume in the pros. But so I get the comparisons between Clark and Maravich. And look, the good thing about this is that we're talking about Pete Maravich, who I always think gets forgotten quite a bit. So the record is the record. You can't really compare it. It's the same thing. I can make the same arguments about what, LeBron breaking Kareem's record and
right.
But they did it. They did it, and it's there. So props. And look, the one thing I will say about Caitlin Clark, other than Travis Kelce because of Taylor Swift, she's the hottest name in sports right now. I don't think
she's the story. She is the story
right now. And for that alone, God bless her. That's tough to do for a female basketball player from Iowa. I mean, people are paying $500, $600, $700, $800 to get anywhere close to her for a chance, young girls, young boys, whatever the case may be, to be able to maybe get to see her play and get her autograph. We haven't seen this in a long, long time. So good for her.
Well, yeah, and they're showing up early.
Yeah,
they're showing up so that as soon as she said, not just for the game, when she comes out for shoot-arounds and warm-ups, the place is packed, if half packed. And a lot of this comparison that I have heard seems to be like defending Maravich, and it seems to be a masculinity thing.
My whole thing, you could be right. My whole thing is I don't hear much about Maravich. I mean, the only person that ever brings up Pete Maravich is, Mad Dog Russo. I mean,
right. But I mean, in this context,
right.
That's what I hear is guys go, oh, Maravich. Here's the wisest thing that I've heard said, and I forget who said it. But to me, it sort of clarifies the situation. And this person says, one of the talking heads on TV said, you can make the comparisons, but scoring the most points shouldn't be the only factor in deciding who's better or who's the best.
Right.
There's a lot of other things, and a lot of what you said, the things about how Maravich was the show, she is the show, how they both brought excitement and attention to the game. A lot of those things are similar, but you shouldn't be looking at just this one thing and saying, well, she's the best because she scored more points.
No, she's not the best ever. She's the best right now.
Right.
But she's not the best
but,
ever.
You know, she's
and,
not
Maravich was
better than Maravich because she scored more points than him. That's,
right.
You know, you're going to make that argument and say, well, LeBron scored more than anybody else, so he's the best.
Do you think Maravich was the best college player of all time? I certainly don't.
Yeah.
That's easy. No. There's a long list ahead of him.
Right.
Yeah.
So to me, that was the wisest thing. Like, don't allow this one number to be, you know, what makes your final judgment. And just enjoy instead of arguing about it. Just enjoy watching it.
She's the right person right now in the state of the game to be the face of women's basketball, and that's great. Now, there's a lot of other wonderful WNBA players, and look, I hope. Let's face it, I like the WNBA. I watch it quite a bit. I think that they're phenomenal athletes, but the excitement for Caitlin Clark, that needs to be transferred into her time in the WNBA. And if she does that, if she brings some of her fans that are not watching the WNBA right now, but will when she goes there, that alone is part of her legacy.
Right. Yeah, agreed.
And listen, there's no guarantee that this is going to translate in the WNBA.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, she's going
to face a whole different level of competition.
She's going to face and she's only a 6-footer.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for a woman, that's pretty tall, 6 feet, but not that tall. When
They
you're
said
talking about a professional basketball
They said
league.
the same thing about Diana Taurasi.
They did, and she proved them wrong. But Caitlin Clark's got to prove them wrong too, and I hope she does. I want nothing but success for her.
And there's other women that are, you know, you got Angel Reese who's going to be in the WNBA next year. There's a lot of good college players right now who they're not only good players, they have a voice, they have a huge fan base, and they have a perspective that is resonating with the people who they're touching, and that's powerful. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. It's the fact that they are connecting with a new group of fans, and that's wonderful.
And one thing I'll say about Caitlin Clark is a lot of the names that we're talking about, the great WNBA players and stuff, they were part of great teams, right? They came from Tennessee, or they came from
some of them.
Some of them.
Most of them.
Yeah. And it's not that they were anonymous, but many of them outside of the sports world didn't have the notoriety that Caitlin Clark has.
She's Larry Bird. She's Larry Bird.
She's the show on an Iowa team.
She chose to stay home and play for a B team and raise them to the A League, much like Larry Bird did with Indiana State.
Yeah. But I think my point is, I think there's going to be people when she goes to the WNBA, there are going to be people who were not as interested before, but might be more interested now. Where's the next Caitlin Clark? And they're going to be watching the WNBA, and they're going to be watching for that next.
Or they watch the WNBA and realize, look at the players already here that I had no idea were here.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, I think that'll happen too.
Yeah.
So I think that could be something that puts eyes on the game at both the college and the pro level.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot to put on the shoulders of that young lady, but she seems like the right person to handle it. She's doing everything right.
You also have to realize that, much like the NBA, the WNBA is starting to have a lot of European and foreign players coming in who didn't necessarily play college basketball either. So I think this whole, won an NCAA championship thing is going to start to lose its, status, so to speak. But yeah, you're right. And look, if you want to write the ultimate Cinderella story, Caitlin Clark in Iowa upset South Carolina in the championship game of women's basketball. That's the Cinderella story.
Right.
Sure.
But
as far as somebody else coming after,
yeah,
just with Kate and Clark or whatever,
there will be. There will be.
I mean, I think she's a junior this year. UConn. What's her name?
Well, how about the girl on USC?
Well, USC too. I was just saying Paige Beckers and
Juju. Yeah, whatever her name is. Yeah,
Paige Beckers in UConn. She's that top scorer on UConn, and they're what 19-0 in their 18-0 in their conference, something like that. And then I know you say USC.
Yeah, Juju, whatever her name is,
Smith-Schuster.
You were going to say that.
Juju
Watkins. She's averaging 28 points a game.
Yeah,
and
I think there are people who are going to be watching for those players now who, who discovered Caitlin Clark, and now they're going to be kind of keeping more of an eye out for that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
there you go.
Which is good for the game.
All right. Anything else? Do we have an over/under tonight or no?
No.
We're going to go over or under 3 hours.
Well, if we finish in the next 49 minutes, we're under 3 hours.
If we don't finish in the next 45 minutes, then
I'm going to be finished in the next 8 minutes.
We can be finished in the next 2 minutes at that point. So.
Excellent. So no over under.
All right. On that note, we will wrap the show up for today. We want to thank everybody for watching, and for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And of course, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Twitch every other Wednesday night around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, as well as iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, Castbox, Deezer, Podchaser,
they know.
Pretty much anywhere you can find an audio podcast, you can find the Get On With It Sports Podcast. Anyway, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds, and you will never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't forget to check out @LogNoise on Instagram and Log Period on Spotify for the new album. And April 20th.
Yes.
Saturday, April
420, of course.
420.
That's right.
420.
No, I don't know what that means, but people say that date.
Nobody here in Colorado knows what that means.
None at all. Not at all.
That's just like a Saturday in Colorado.
Follow the fog.
It's just another day.
Another day in paradise. There you go.
There's not a police riot downtown.
We'll post everything in a link on the Facebook page as well. But check that out and have a great week. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.